have one more important session, that is on sustainable utilization of paper industry, solid waste in construction. This is also important topic. This topic is going to be delivered by one of my youngest colleague, Dr. Prabhat Vasisht. In briefly, Dr. Prabhat Vasisht is a research associate working in structural engineering division of our institute. His area of interest is industrial solid waste utilization in building materials, and major projects which involved is lime sludge utilization in building product, steel sludge application for binder preparation, and other projects he has involved. He has published more than 8 SCI journal papers and 1 book chapter in his credit. So he's a young researcher. He is very enthusiastic to discuss with you on this topic. So I welcome Dr. Prabhat Vasisht to take over the session. Prabhat Vasisht, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As you said, I'm really enthusiastic about this. Yes, so sure. And thank you, everyone. I am Dr. Prabhat Vasisht, working as research associate here in CSIR CBRI Roorkee, and I'm here to present my work on sustainable utilization of paper industry solid waste in construction. Presentation outline of my work will be introduction, objectives, characterization of raw materials, result and discussion, conclusion, and some of my publications. So when we started with the introduction, the paper industry, there are 2 kinds of paper industries. One is wood waste and agro waste, and second is waste paper recycling waste. Wood waste and agro waste industries use the wood and agro waste materials as their raw material to produce paper, and waste paper recycling waste industries use the waste paper to produce virgin paper. So despite the production of paper, they also generate some diverse kind of waste materials. On that side, wood waste and agro waste industries generate 4 different kind of waste materials. One is pulp sludge, another say ETP sludge, third one is lime sludge, fourth one is boiler ash. And waste paper recycling waste industry generate 2 type of waste materials, boiler ash and ETP sludge. We can further divide ETP sludge in 2 categories. One is primary sludge and second is secondary sludge. Although we are focused, I am focusing today on lime sludge and boiler ash. And so the lime sludge is generation that takes place in wood waste and agro waste paper industries. Basically, when the pulping process, when the wood is converted to pulp, then the ultimately pulp is converted to paper. So when the wood, we use wood or agro waste material in digester and give it the temperature, it will go to the it will become pulp. And when we wash that pulp, there is a weak black liquor also come out with the pulp, as it is depicted in the slide. Weak black liquor will go to the evaporators. Evaporators will because weak black liquor is very diluted, so the evaporator will convert that weak black liquor into the heavy black liquor. This black liquor contains the organic lignin in the composition, because the pulp is white by their nature, because paper will be white. So the lignin will come out, and this lignin is having some calorific value, I mean, this lignin is organic, and so it is energy. When so this heavy black liquor, which is having lignin and chemicals used in the digestion process in the digester, will come to the recovery boiler. This recovery boiler will consume the lignin, and it will give energy to run the plant of paper industry. So this recovery boiler, it will consume the lignin, and the green liquor will comes out. This green liquor is nothing but sodium carbonate and sodium sulfate. And we can't just waste the chemicals. It is very valuable in the paper industries, in every industry. So we have to recover white liquor from this green liquor. In the process of conversion of green liquor to white liquor, because white liquor will go to the digester with goods that will become pulp. So when this green liquor will be converted to white liquor, according to the causticization reaction, which you can see in the slide, that according to causticization reaction, in the causticization tank, it will happen. The calcium hydroxide will react with sodium carbonate and sodium sulfide, which will convert sodium carbonate to sodium hydroxide, and calcium carbonate and Na2S will co-produce. So the white liquor, which is NaOH and Na2S, will go to the digester again, while in the causticization tank, CaCO3 will precipitate. This CaCO3 is white cake of calcium carbonate. So, and this is lime sludge. So the lime sludge will come out, and the paper industries, some of them installed lime kiln in the industry. So the lime kiln will convert this lime sludge into lime again. I mean, calcium carbonate to calcium oxide. It will require the temperature of 750 to 850 degrees C, and lime sludge will be converted to lime. So the lime sludge, they can reutilize lime sludge in the paper industry as lime. So nothing is going out with this process. But the problem with lime sludge in the paper industries is that lime recovery is big challenge for agro-based industries. The lime sludge is calcium carbonate, but there is also process-generated silica present in lime sludge, and that is almost 5 to 10% of the total lime sludge. So, as you can see in lime kiln operation, there are 3 stages of lime kiln operation. One is evaporation, second one is heating, third one is calcining. So evaporation and heating is okay when we do the calcination, but in the calcining process at the third step, this silica causes the scaling problem in lime kiln. So the process becomes so energy intensive, and hence it's not cost effective to paper industries. So paper industries it's not worthy for them to use lime kiln operation at this energy cost. Another reason is the cheap availability of lime in the market. Lime is very cheap and available in the market, so paper industries are not preferring to regenerate the lime out of lime sludge. They have to just dump the lime sludge, so it's becoming problem. And the third reason is also associated with lime sludge is that high pressure to reduce CO2 emission, because calcium carbonate will convert to calcium oxide, which will emit CO2, and that is very obvious. That everyone knows the greenhouse effect and all, and CO2 emissions should be reduced. So there are 3 factors. What can be our approach for the lime sludge utilization in construction? So basically the paper industries were using lime recovery process, but nowadays lime recovery process is not techno-economically feasible. So in the alternative ways for lime sludge utilization should be there. Utilization in construction material can be the option, and we can use the lime sludge in 3 ways: mortar and concrete, cementitious binder, and also in burnt brick and some wall putty production. And in this approach, we can use lime sludge in different ways, like blending with other waste materials. We can blend the lime sludge with fly ash and boiler ash because they are sources of alumina and silica. So we can blend this calcium with alumina and silica, which can make a better construction material. Another is calcination. We can use the calcination, calcium carbonate to calcium oxide, but it is all again very energy intensive process. Third one is we can use it as a filler in concrete. It is because it is raw lime sludge is inactive material. It's calcium carbonate. It will not do anything in concrete system. So it will we can use it as a filler. But the utilization of lime sludge as a filler will be very minimum. We can use the silica of the lime sludge in fourth way. The kaolinite, which is the silica is present in the form of kaolinite also in lime sludge. So we can convert this kaolinite to metakaolinite, which can function as pozzolanic material. So there are four approach can be there. So, and the problem which is being addressed with paper industry's fly ash and boiler ash is that production of 1 ton paper generate approximately 650 kg of ash. Despite use of ash in landfilling, embankment, and other application, there are some issues included remains a great concern for paper industries. It is estimated that only 46% of ash generated used in numerous applications, and boiler ash and silica, boiler ash and fly ash are silica and alumina rich materials, so can be utilized in building material applications. The objectives of this my work was the low temperature preparation of Portland clinker, that basically be light-based clinker, through lime sludge and nanosilica synthesized from boiler ash. The development of cementitious binder through synthesized clinker. Second one is utilization of lime sludge and synthesized nanosilica in concrete. And third one is application of low temperature calcined lime sludge in developing sustainable cementitious binder. This slide shows the overview of the work. The target is to valorize the paper industry waste materials. It is lime sludge, boiler ash, and fly ash. But the major hindrance behind this is inactivity of lime sludge and boiler ash. Challenge to provide technology for on-site utilization of waste in paper industry itself, because they can't it will be cost effective to them if they can use the technology in their own industry. The primary objectives associated with this is application of lime sludge and boiler ash for light-based clinker synthesis and application of lime sludge as cementitious binder in concrete. How we can do this synthesis of nanosilica from boiler ash and fly ash, because they are very silica-rich materials. And second one is application of lime sludge with nanosilica for fabrication of cementitious binder, and lime sludge application after heat treatment. That can be that will be low heat treatment, not at the 750 to 850 degrees C. The innovation related with this work is that the application of paper industry is in novel way with an less energy input, and it will also impact the industries with the valorization of feed and waste, and society they will be impacted with less GHG greenhouse emission and accumulation of waste. So the characterization of raw materials, the XRF chemical composition of raw materials was performed, and lime sludge, which is basically this is calcium oxide present in 45.10%. This is because when it was performed, so the LOI, which is 43.18, the calcium oxide, carbon dioxide will be emitted, and so the remaining is calcium oxide 45.10%. If we can take them together, it will be around 93 to 94% of calcium carbonate. And the boiler ash, it is silica, which is present majorly present with 43.22%, and alumina with 6.18%, and the abundance of calcium and silica abundance of alumina and silica make boiler ash and fly ash for the to synthesize silica, nanosilica out of them, to make good precursor. On the mineralogical analysis of raw materials, the lime sludge clearly it represents calcite, talc, and kaolinite. Fly ash it represents quartz and mullite, and boiler ash also quartz and mullite. The thing which is in here, the fly ash which is having a more mullite than quartz, and the boiler ash having more quartz than mullite. This is due to the more alumina presence of in fly ash in comparison to boiler ash. Boiler ash is more silica prominent, while fly ash is having both of them, silica and alumina. So we choose the boiler ash for the nanosilica production. This is the reason. So the lime sludge at temperature 787 degrees C, DTA curve is dominated by a strong endothermic peak, which is characteristic of the decomposition reaction of calcite to calcium carbonate, calcium oxide. This is about lime sludge. The 787 degrees C, the endothermic peak is there. So this is conversion of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide. It also reflect mass loss of approximately 40%. Exothermic peak at 564 degrees C confirms the presence of quartz in BA and FA. Mass loss of 43 and in BA and FA respectively are consistent with the loss of ignition determined in XRF analysis. Synthesis and characterization of nanosilica. Nanosilica synthesis was performed with boiler ash. The acid pretreatment of ash for the removal of metallic compounds from the ash was performed. Then the alkali treatment of digested ash was performed. The addition of sulfuric acid for silica precipitation, as you can see in the reactions, silicon oxide was reacted with sodium hydroxide, which converted to sodium silicate and H2O, and this sodium silicate will react with sodium sulfuric acid, which will produce silica and sodium sulfate and H2O. It is so that in the characterization of this nanosilica, broad peak of in the XRD spectrum, the broad peak of from 18 to 36 to theta angle is similar to standard silica spectrum, but due to the amorphous nature of synthesized nanosilica, the width of the peak is increased. That is, it can be seen in the figure. The FTIR spectra of nanosilica shows the characteristic absorption band of SiO(Si) at around 1099 and 3477, which confirm the synthesis of nanosilica from boiler ash. And also when we performed the TEM analysis, it was clear that the synthesized nanosilica was spherical and monoscattered with the particle size range from almost 10 nanometer to 25 nanometer. The resultant discussion: the synthesis of belide-based binder using lime sludge and nanosilica. The synthesized nanosilica was utilized with lime sludge for the synthesis of belide-based binder. The need of alternative binder, why there is need? The requirement of OPC in India will likely touch 600 million tons by 2025, with a shortfall of 230 million tons. It's almost 370 million tons in 2020. So it is required to enhance the OPC production process, or to develop alternative binder which can help to fulfill the needs of the construction sector. But the major amount of CO2, about 95%, is generated in cement clinker production during calcination of limestone, which is calcium carbonate to calcium oxide also, leading to greenhouse gas effect and environmental imbalances. So this binder production will reduce that temperature, and will synthesize the binder clinker at low temperature. So in this flow chart, this depicted that lime sludge, boiler ash, and fly ash. The boiler ash was used for nanosilica synthesis, and the synthesized nanosilica was further utilized with lime sludge, and boiler ash was also used as a blend with lime sludge, and fly ash was also used with lime sludge. So when we homogenized the mixture of all three materials with lime sludge and fired them at different temperature in electric arc furnace, and after that characterization of mixture for Belite synthesis was performed, from this clinker, the binder was fabricated with the addition of GGBS and tested for different properties. So as depicted in the flow chart, there were three blends: lime sludge plus nanosilica, lime sludge plus boiler ash, lime sludge plus fly ash. So basically the Belite is synthesized with calcium oxide and silicon oxide reaction. So on the basis of this, keeping the molar ratio of calcium and silica up to 2, on the basis of stoichiometry, these blends were formed, in which nanosilica was 34 gram, boiler ash was taken up to as 78 grams, and fly ash 85 grams. And the retention period, heating profile of the blends the pellets were formed with the homogenized blends and sintered in a muffle furnace. Blends were sintered at different temperature from 900 to 1200 degrees C. Retention type of 2 hours were optimized for all the blends. Natural cooling was applied for all sintered blends. And after that, the characterization of sinter blends were performed with XRD analysis, hydration test, compressive strength test. So in the XRD analysis, when F1 blend, it was shown that it was observed that at 900 degrees C, the Belite was prominent, but at the very high temperature of 1200 degrees C, it was converted to bolistronite in F1 blend case. So at 900 degrees C, we can get Belite, and in case of F2 blend and F3 blend, there was a synthesis of galenite and anorthite take place, and this is due to the presence of alumina in boiler ash and fly ash. So from the synthesized clinker, the binder was prepared. The blend characterized with Belite synthesis, which was F1 fired blend with nanosilica and lime sludge, was further used for binder preparation. 80% of Belite based clinker and 20% of GGBS were used for fabrication of cementitious binder. The fired powder was milled and sieved, then mixed with 20% of powder ground galvanized blast furnace slag GGBS, which has silica and alumina with calcium in their composition. So the GGBS used the binder due to its pozzolanic nature, which will provide the cementitious property to the binder. On the heat of hydration analysis of this developed binder, it was clear that it can be compared to the OPC cement. The compressive strength and density of prepared binder, it was clear that compressive strength of the material was 5 Newton per millimeter square and 12 Newton per millimeter square and 15 Newton per millimeter square at 720 and 56 days of curing respectively. The mortar met the strength requirement at 28 days for masonry mortar according to Indian standards 2250. The estimated cost for production of 1 kg nanosilica, it was around 29 per kg of nanosilica on the basis of chemicals required and ash required. And when we do cost analysis of developed cementitious binder, it was very much comparable with the commercial OPC, as it can see in that it is 8.50 per kg of binder, which is very much comparable to the OPC, commercial OPC, and it can be the cost of developed binder can be further decreased with the bulk manufacturing or with better technology, with better instrumentation for this developed technology. So this was the binder fabrication, and now I'm taking this utilization of lime sludge and synthesized nanosilica in concrete directly. Nanosilica in concrete, why we required, because as you can see, the core nano engineered concrete, it will give more strength, and nanosilica is the basis of nano engineered concrete. It will give more strength than high performance concrete, as it is depicted in the figure, that metaclonite, microsilica and nanosilica. Nanosilica it is having very high specific surface area, so it is highly reactive and can contribute in the high strength development of the concrete. But lime sludge with nanosilica, why it is required? So that when we used as received lime sludge, we can use only up to 10% replacement of OPC, and according to the literature, and when we calcine the lime sludge at 850 degrees C, it is up to 30 to 40% replacement of OPC is possible. But the calcination, it is again energy intensive. And the third point, when we partially calcine lime sludge at 450 degrees C to 650 D, we can further use up to 30% replacement of OPC, and I will take it further. And when we use when we use lime sludge with nanosilica or other supplementary pozzolanic materials, it can be replaced with up to 30% of OPC. So there is this flow chart of waste to concrete, the nanosilica which was synthesized from the ash, and this ash with this nanosilica, synthesized nanosilica and lime sludge was utilized in for the production of concrete, and all the testing was also done. The flow chart here for the concrete production, the raw material and mixing, filling of concrete mix in molds and 3 layers, finishing by using trowels, demolding, curing, and further the compressive strength. So the compressive strength of concrete with different doses of lime sludge and nanosilica, it can be seen that lime sludge application with nanosilica increased the compressive strength up to 30%. Sorry, lime sludge application with nanosilica can increase the lime sludge consumption up to 30% without affecting the compressive strength of the concrete. Application of nanosilica produce better result due to chemical effect of nanosilica. It is because chemical and also physical effect of nanosilica. Physically, it will fill the voids in the concrete, and chemically it is highly reactive, so it will react with in the more CSH gel development. So in the outcome of that, the concrete having 1% of nanosilica develop more strength than other concrete blends. We also performed some experiment with with using plasticizer to compare the effect of nanosilica with the plasticizer impact. When we can see that it is up to 20% with the plasticizer that we can use in lime sludge, but it was 30% replacement of OPC with lime sludge with nanosilica. And so we also done it with fine aggregate replacement, and it was seen that with plasticizer we could replace the fine aggregates with lime sludge up to 20%, but with plasticizer it was increased up to almost 30%. So when we are replacing fine aggregate with lime sludge, we can use plasticizer, but when we are replacing for cement with lime sludge, we have to use highly reactive pozzolanic material, which can be nanosilica. So when we are using nanosilica up to 1%, it can be seen that SEM is improving with the SEM micrographs are improving in the compactness and uniformness with the increasing percentage of nanosilica. Application, I'm taking the third objective, application of low temperature calcined lime sludge in developing sustainable cementitious binder. Why low temperature calcination of lime sludge is required? Because at the temperature 450 to 700 degrees C, kaolinite is converted to metakaolinite. The kaolinite is present in lime sludge in up to 5 to 10%, and this metakaolinite is when we convert it to metakaolinite, it is pozzolanic material, and so this pozzolanic material will react with the calcium hydroxide, which will form tetracalcium aluminum hydrate and calcium silicate hydrate, which is CSH gel, and it will further develop more CSH gel, which will enhance the compressive strength of the concrete. Again, the flow chart of for the low temperature treatment of lime sludge and then utilization is concrete. So the calcination of lime sludge was performed, and mineralogical analysis was performed. Then concrete, it was put in concrete, and then other properties was tested, and it was also the same thing was also done with as received lime sludge. As received lime sludge was used in concrete, and the compressive strength and other properties was tested. And the heating profile was it is at 650 degrees C for it was kept in for 2 hours at 650 degrees C. When we see the raw lime sludge, it is kaolinite was present in the raw lime sludge, but at the heating treatment at 650 degrees C for 2 hours, it was further converted to metakaolinite. The other XRD spectra are for more temperature, but it was producing the same result. So we optimized it up to 650 degrees C. So we prepared the blends with calcined lime sludge and raw lime sludge with the cement replacement, and produced and also and nomenclature it as calcined lime sludge based binder and raw lime sludge based binder. We replace up to from 10 to 40% of cement with this. With the raw lime sludge, it was seen that up to 30% of replacement. It was the compressive strength was decreased drastically, but with the calcined lime sludge, it is possible to use lime sludge up to 30% of cement replacement. This is heat of hydration. It is clearly seen that calcined lime sludge based binder with 30% of lime sludge of cement replacement gives better peak and better normalized heat in comparison to raw lime sludge based binder and control. Further, the same micrograph of concrete, it is with raw lime sludge based binder, it can be seen that it is lime sludge which is scattered and it is not compact and uniform, while the calcined lime sludge based binder, it is the same micrograph was more uniform and compact. Conclusion. In the conclusion, extraction of amorphous silica nanoparticles from boiler ash and fly ash are successfully done with particle size range of 10 to 25 nanometer. Belite were prepared with lime sludge and synthesized nanosilica at relatively low temperature of 850 degrees to 900 degrees C with less energy consumption than conventional temperature above about 1200 degrees C. The heat of hydration of binder, compressive strength and density of the prepared mortars fulfill the requirements of indoor and outdoor mortar application. While the cement can be replaced with lime sludge with the addition of nanosilica, the concrete blocks with 30% application of lime sludge and 1% nanosilica can produce the same result in M25 grade of concrete. And the future suggestions for lime sludge applications can be for the paper industry based applications can be, if the boiler ash we are using for the nanosilica synthesis, it is we are extracting silica out of boiler ash, but the remaining waste is still there. That waste we can use in the building applications again, construction applications again. And for the lime sludge, there are possibility of thermochemical activation, calcination of lime sludge, application of dispersive agents. For the thermochemically activated lime sludge can be directly used in for the pavements and bricks and briquettes for production, while the calcination of lime sludge we can use in the with other minerals and oil with as received lime sludge. The application of the dispersive agent, direct application in mortar and concrete is possible with the dispersive agent. This is the big brick production unit in our partner industry in Ruchira paper industry, Kalam, Himachal Pradesh. They set up a plant to produce the lime sludge based bricks, and we are soon in the process to transfer the technology to them. These are the general publications. Some of my research I have published on waste utilization for paper industry. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can ask the questions now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vashish. Now we request participant to ask questions if any.
Thank you, Nalus.
There is one question. What are the effects of lime sludge on soil bearing capacity?
Soil bearing capacity, in what context are you asking? It should be clear, but we can use the lime sludge for the road applications directly in the hilly areas, or where the soil erosion is the problem. We can use lime sludge directly there also, but we can't utilize lime sludge there in that amount. And with the valorization of it, so paper industry should get some valorization of lime sludge, so we can't use the lime sludge for the soil bearing in this thing. Yes.
What is the effect of nanosilica on the hydration process of cement? There's one more question.
Look, when the calcium silicate hydrate uh, produced in through the hydration process of cement, there is calcium hydroxide also is also the co-product of that reaction. The nanosilica further react with that calcium co-product, which is calcium hydroxide. So it further produce more CSH, and it will enhance the compressive strength hence. Yes.
Any more questions, please? Okay, I think there are no more questions. It is really a very nice presentation made by Dr. Vasist. It's totally detailed technical aspects he has explained how the paper waste is being used for different purposes. Really very nice presentation. Thank you, Dr. Vasist, for making a very nice presentation.
Thank you so much.
And also, there are some questions which are answered. There is one more question you can answer now. Will nanosilica going to affect the setting time of cement?
No, I don't think so, because nanosilica is uh, will work on the physical and chemical basis, and it will not affect setting time.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Vasist. And I am very much thankful to all the participants who have participated in this 4-day session. I would request all of you to join the final technical session on tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Hope to see you tomorrow at 11. Thank you very much, one and all, for participating in this 4th day technical session. Thank you very much, one and all.
Thank you, sir. मेरे पास आया है, शर्म मांगने आया है।